Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to my In Conversation With for this week. I am here live with Marie Sommerville. We are going to be talking not network marketing this time. Marie is not a network marketer. Oh, goodness me. Marie is one of my Success Lines members and one-to-one clients. And I thought it'd be nice to hear from her from a different viewpoint about the successes and struggles in business, because I don't think the people in network marketing are unique in any way, shape or form. What struggles we have applies to pretty much every business out there. So Marie, would you like to introduce yourself and what you do?
Hi everybody. Thank you to Anna for having me on. My name is Marie. I am Scottish, in case you can't tell from the accent. I'm really trying hard to keep it chilled. I am a French and Spanish graduate, mother of one. Sometimes it feels like a mother of five, but never mind. And I speak French and Spanish.
And you have turned that speaking French and Spanish into a business, haven't you?
I have, yes, I did.
Yes.
I was going down the line of secondary teaching because that was always what I thought I wanted to do. But on a placement, I realised that it wasn't quite like you think it is in your head. There's a lot of aggression in the classrooms these days that as a 5-foot woman, I really didn't feel comfortable with. So I got a day job instead. And speaking about trying to find alternative employment, I decided I wanted to teach adults, and my friend, way before lockdown, my friend said, just do it yourself then. So I started, I contacted some local centres locally, so some community centres, bowling clubs, things like that, and I ran evening classes to adults. I would tutor the odd person, I would know people and say, oh, my niece needs somebody, can I give them your number? So I would did the odd bit of tutoring. And then actually before lockdown, I'm also qualified to teach English as a foreign language. And I did the CELTA course. I don't know if anyone knows what that is. It's like a teaching qualification by Cambridge to teach English as a foreign language. And I was asked to volunteer, and I volunteered, but it was via Zoom. So
Yep.
this was before lockdown. So I actually am one of these few people maybe that used Zoom before Zoom was a thing. So,
Yeah.
but doing it with your own child, by the way, is totally different. Don't have, it was completely, I was, yeah, I know how it works. No, the actual home learning thing wasn't how I expected. But when it came to, but then it was really funny in my head because I was volunteering teaching English as a foreign language. I wasn't being paid for it. And it was kind of lockdown that made me think, well, wait a minute, if I'm volunteering and I'm doing English as a foreign language and I'm homeschooling my child and have Pat Vits on team, why don't I do this? This French and Spanish thing online, and it came from there. So it's been learning a language has been going for a while, but it's really only come into its own since lockdown, I would say.
Yeah. So you have two sides to this business, don't you? One for children. Well,
Yes.
GCSE and highers. Is it called
Yes, well,
highers? Yeah.
we're Scottish, so we've got Nat 5, where
That's
you have GCSE, and
yeah.
we have higher, and you guys have A level. So really teenagers.
Yeah.
And I've also got some beginners.
Yes.
So I've got the actual page, the sort of Learn a Language Facebook page, but I'll have the Learn a Language VIP lounge for the grown-ups.
Yeah. For
And
those
I've also,
people who want to be able to actually speak the language when they go on holiday.
yes, which this is the thing, I have rarely gone on holiday abroad to a country where I don't speak the language. And we went to Portugal recently with the family for them to play golf. And I really didn't feel very comfortable. It was like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to say to people. I don't know how to say all this. So yeah, I do beginners, and as much as I love, and I know that the teenagers doing exam tuition, they're not really children, but I still talk about
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
wains, my children, my boy, my girl. But there is something really fun about doing the beginners with adults because it's all centred around holidays. It's a 6-week course, and it goes from when you touch down in the airport to when you get to your accommodation to when you want to order your favourite drink to you want to order your pizza without olives or whatever like that. And there's no two groups are the same. And the class dynamics really fun. Sometimes you get married couples who come and they'll maybe want to sit together or maybe they want to sit totally apart. I ran a beginner's class before lockdown, and it turned out that I knew loads of the people in the course, but I didn't know it was them. They didn't know it was me, and it was like my friend's mum or my colleague's friend, and it wasn't actually people I knew directly. It was kind of like one person removed. And my friend's mum was in the course, and I was like, "Your husband not with you?" She said, "No, we would just argue." She said, "I'll just tell him what I learned because I'll be right." So,
I love it.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, brilliant. So you set up this business. I presume you were, well, if you're anything like me, super passionate about what you can offer and the impact you can have. What surprised you? What was different than you expected?
I kind of expected the social media part to be easier. I kind of thought, yay, I've got like 500 people on Facebook and they'll join my page and my group and blah, blah. I kind of thought it'd be like real. And it's a wee bit like total silence. You know, it's like, it's quite strange. And people will say, oh, I saw your post. And I'm like, did you not comment on it? Or did you maybe share it? Oh, well, you already know the answer because I know you. So, okay, so yeah, it's strange that way. It's trying to find the balance between being out there all the time and being in people's faces constantly, and not being out there at all.
Yeah, and I think we come into social media to market our business, and we do expect that support. But everybody's on there for a different reason, aren't they? They're not there for you on social media. They're there for themselves. And actually, most of our friends and family on Facebook or Instagram, they're not our ideal client. They're not that person who we want to be selling to anyway, are we?
Not at all. But there's also different kinds of people because my husband and my daughter are very similar, but they're very different to me. So speaking to my daughter as a student, oh my goodness, because I've been tutoring, I know the local high school French and Spanish, or I know a few of them, but one of the ones I knew went to her school, and did she speak to him? No. Because whereas I would have been when I was at school, I was the hand first up kind of person, whereas my husband and my daughter very much, sitting on their hands, please don't ask me. So it's a bit like that in social media. I'll always answer a post, whether I tell you no, I've not done it, or I have. I'll normally answer if I see it.
If you see it, that's the thing as well, isn't it?
But I'll answer even if my answer gets me into trouble. No, Anna, I haven't done that yet. But people like my husband and my child just sort of scroll past, and so I get that on my page as well. So you're trying to find content that's attractive to people, and I'm always very aware of the fact that I'm selling grammar. Do you know what? I want to tell you, I'm teaching you how to order your favourite drink or order your favourite pizza or whatever it is. But a lot of people have had bad experiences with language classrooms as a child themselves. I'm studying just now towards a postgrad diploma. I've just finished the postgrad certificate. Got word in January, but I'm continuing to do the postgrad diploma. So you find out, you do a bit of research and things like that, and you find out that people have a lot of bad experiences about their modern foreign language experience. Like they call it MFL because that encompasses French and Spanish and German. I think they said there was a survey was like a third of parents don't feel confident helping their child with French and Spanish homework.
I wouldn't have had a clue. We've had this conversation before, haven't we? I did German at school. One of my children did French and one did Spanish. French I could kind of cope with, but it was the real basics, the stuff you learn in the first year at secondary school, the real, counting up to 12, and that's probably about it, and maybe some animals. But Spanish, it was completely overwhelming. And to be able to help my child at GCSE level with that was impossible.
Yeah. But then I think that the total opposite. My child's already doing she's in the last, when I know your English system is slightly different.
Yeah.
My child is 11. She's in her last year at primary school. She starts high school in August, but she's already doing some high school math stuff. And she'll bring math stuff home, and I'll be like, just go and have a drink. And I'm on the phone to my friend going, help, because I can't do it. I genuinely can't do it. And she's been doing coding, and I'm like, totally lost. But if it comes to like, right, so did the French teacher come today? And I love it.
Yeah, it's just what we know, isn't it? It's what we know. Absolutely. And then I think sometimes having that somebody to go and talk to, like yourself, that can help with that, or somebody that you can put your child in touch with to help with what you can't, is well, it's just amazing. I remember my daughter having a maths tutor to get her through her GCSEs because she couldn't. Well, she was very good at Spanish. I didn't have a trouble with her and her Spanish at all. She just got that, but she didn't get her maths. So for her to be able to go to university, she needed to pass her maths. She also needed to pass her MFL, her Spanish, because that was part of the agreement. You had to have a modern foreign language to get into university at the time. And that tutor was the person that helped her do it, because there was no way I could. And I think it's a great service you provide.
It's also the fact that children will do things for other people they won't do for their parents. Way before, I mean, Megan will do homework, kind of, but I remember having to look after. Actually, the couple I told you that the wife went to the Spanish class and the husband didn't because they would disagree. Well, their granddaughter, I was looking after their granddaughter, and because they were on holiday, and I said to my friend, right, well, I'll collect her and my child at the same time. We'll do a bit of homework, then we'll do dinner. And my friend said, listen, Monday night's not a homework night in our house. She might just sit quietly, but please don't make a big issue because we don't do homework on a Monday night in our house. I was like, fair enough. So we got into my house, we gave them a snack and stuff, and my daughter did her homework, and so did my friend's child.
Yeah.
And my friend appeared and was like, really? It was like, not a word of a complaint. I gave her a choice. Mum says you don't have to do it, but you can do it if you like. Okay, and she did it, no problem. And that's when you start to learn, that there's things that children will do for other people that they won't do for their own parents, and that's. I always think it's like driving lessons, Megan has, because she likes to wind me up by doing things like odd socks and odd days of the week socks just to really set me off. But she's announced that because I speak French and Spanish, she's announced she wants to learn German.
Yeah.
Why?
Like, just to wind you up.
You don't, so that you can't help me. Like, cheers.
Yeah. And do you know, on a similar vein, us as adults are very, very like that too. We will do things for other people that we wouldn't necessarily do for ourselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think as a business owner, we forget that. And as a business owner, we are doing everything for ourselves. Therefore, we don't put ourselves out there the same. If we were doing it for an employee, for somebody else, we'd find it so much easier to get it out there.
You're dead right.
Yeah.
If you were to tell me to go live on my own Facebook group, I would be like, no way, but here I am.
Here you are, live on a business page, on my Facebook group, on YouTube. You'll be on a podcast soon. There's no stopping you now, you see.
None whatsoever.
Yeah. So what has been your biggest success, do you feel, in your business so far?
Well, I did decide I will always love beginners Spanish. That's because who doesn't love talking about, your favourite drinks and ordering your favourite dinner. But really, I think my biggest win has been the exam tuition. There were children, they were 15, and again, I'm only 5 foot, they're all taller than me, but kids. The Scottish word is wane, and a lot of people don't like that or don't know what that is. So I'm saying children, but I use the term loosely. But a lot of the kids had missed out during lockdown, and I was being asked to help. And they had 2 students, could not have been more opposite. The girl was very academically clever, like your daughter, but lacked a lot of confidence. Partly just her nature, and partly lockdown, and she needed help with her speaking exam, and that's what we did. And we had a bit of a chat afterwards. Obviously, I would speak to her. It was on Zoom. It was during the lockdown. Our mum was expecting, so even when the rules were not quite as strict, we still continued on Zoom because our mum was expecting and she was wanting to keep everybody safe, especially our mum. So we had Zooms, we had video calls, we practiced, we rehearsed what we would say. She wrote it all out, we read it all out, and we would rehearse it. And you have to ask questions. I don't know about the exams down for GCSE, but after the children students do a presentation, a pre-prepared presentation, they are asked questions. So I would be the teacher, and we would I would pretend to be her, and she'd ask questions, everything. And she became so confident, and we would have voice memos back and forward where she was sending me a presentation, and it was just brilliant. And then I had the boy who I knew his mum and stuff like that. His mum's my daughter's golf teacher, and again, big bloke, big tall, you know, and I'm saying and we used to laugh and things like that. But he struggled academically. He was crashing Spanish, and he'd obviously missed a lot through lockdown. And I had to teach him like how to like sentences and how to like tenses and all the grammar stuff. And I'm saying, like, come on, I know that, do this. And I taught him the tenses he needed to do the sentences. And then when the first one really was when he was sending me the voice memos of his presentation, I was getting all emotional because this is like the culmination. And I'm saying it's like the circle of life, and he's like, yeah, whatever. But it's all this grammar and the language I've spoken that we've taught you. You're now doing these sentences and you're adding things on and everything. But the biggest win was exam result day. I obviously still have a day job, and I was sitting, and it was a day I was in the office. I could not get out of work in the office this particular day, and the exam results came through, and both kids got an A.
Brilliant.
And I was sitting in the office with the tears streaming down my face because, and particularly, I kind of knew the girl would do well. I knew she would really do well. I was delighted she got an A, but it wasn't a huge surprise. But oh my goodness, the boy. I couldn't have, honestly, I was just, and I'm texting my friend saying I'm sitting in the office crying. She's, I'm crying too. Like, yeah, but it's not actually mine. So I was on a high for days after that.
Oh, I bet.
It was amazing.
So what big plans have you got then for your business going forward?
Going forward, I'm still doing the postgrad. I'm doing the diploma, but which is kind of eating up more time than I realised. But I want to continue. I want to branch out. To do group classes. I'm a wee bit more nervous at group classes because you will have a bit. Hoping there won't be a crowd control element, but I feel as if there are. I think there'll be better engagement. I think sometimes when you ask one-to-one, like, so what your presentation is to be on holidays. What did you do on holiday? And when you're one-on-one, sometimes you find their shoes become really interesting, and and only because I knew the two tutees I had, I knew their mums, so I could kind of, well, your mum's Facebook page said you did this, so things like that. So I hope I wouldn't, if it was a complete stranger, I wouldn't have that. So I'm hoping to do group classes next academic year. I'm going to be running adult beginners classes after Easter. But my big thing is to go more. I should graduate next year, January 2025, I think, if I got that right. So the plan is to start ramping up the business again. Next academic year. So yeah, I'll do the beginners for the adults from between Easter and the summer, have the summer off, and then once I recover from the shock of my baby starting high school, we'll start academic year 2023 into 24.
Yeah, oh, exciting. So last question for you, and I ask this every single time. What is the one tip that you would like to share for the other business owners that are out there listening to this today?
That's a tricky one. I would say don't be scared to do it. That sounds really silly, but just don't be scared. There's things I'll say to you in the group, and I'll say, and whether it's a business or whether you're going to Spain. When I remember that woman that was in the Spanish class, years before that, she'd found out she was gluten intolerant, and she said to message me on Facebook, said, could you tell me how to say I'm gluten intolerant? So I sent her a little voice memo to say, soy tengo alergia al gluten. So she would just practice that. But and you know, just don't be frightened to do it, whether it's starting up a business, whether it's putting yourself out there, says me on a Zoom at, well, not Zoom, a live at 20 past 11 on a Monday morning, but or trying to speak the language. See, when you go, they just love it.
Yeah.
When you go, we went to Spain on holiday with my in-laws, and I was on the down low, I wasn't saying much. And it was a mother and daughter were doing the tour, and they, between each other, they said, something about what's the English word for iglesia, and I just went church. Went, and you know, and because of that, I then got to do a bit of translation and stuff. But they loved it, you know. And you tend to find your drinks get slightly, you know, you're bigger and your portion slightly larger, but you just have so much fun, and you meet more people than you ever would. You know, when you
it's exactly the same. If you get involved with stuff in a local community, whether that's abroad speaking their language, even if it's, you know, the odd word here and there, or in a business community, things happen. Magic happens, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being my guest today. Would you like to just tell everybody where they can find you on social media before we disappear?
You can find me on Facebook at the Learn a Language VIP Lounge.
Brilliant. Fantastic. I'll make sure. Yeah, make sure you put your links below, won't you? And I'll make sure people can find you. And thank you so much for being my guest this morning.
Thank you for having me. I'll speak to you later. Right, bye.
Bye.